بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Secondly, Darwinism as an ethical system. And now this is the part of Darwinian evolution which is generally overlooked. Now imagine if I said to you guys, do you know what? I believe in general relativity. Oh no, forget that. I believe in gravity. Gravity works, right? But I said, gravity works every single place in the entire universe, except for the UK. And in the UK, there's only one part where it doesn't work, which is this university, and in this room, gravity doesn't work. Other than that, it works in every single part of the world. You're going to say, you're bonkers. What are you talking about? How can you make an exception? Well, if Darwin's theory of evolution is true, then something like this has to be true as a matter of logic. Now here we have 12 stages of human evolution. We have, at the bottom, we have 6 types of great apes, and at the top we have 6 types of human beings. Now the difference between step 7 and step 6. Step 6 is the African man, which we have some brothers at the back there. And we have actually, we almost have every type of human being in this room, roughly, right? 1 to 6. Now, as you keep going down, you get to number 1, which is the Caucasian. The distance between the Caucasian and the African is 5 steps. And the distance between the African and the ape is 1 step. Now, I'm sure somebody may mutter in the room, that's inherently racist. Well, this is an idea which was accepted at the time, and it was even accepted by Darwin himself. And here's the proof. This picture is in a book published by Ernst Haeckel, who was a contemporary of Darwin, him and Darwin used to communicate with each other, who was the main proponent of Darwinism in Germany. In fact, Ernst Haeckel published his book on human evolution, and Darwin published his own book on human evolution, The Descent of Man. And Darwin said, if I knew, this is his review of Ernst Haeckel's book, if I knew that Ernst Haeckel was going to make this book, I wouldn't have made The Descent of Man. And he not only acknowledged this type of very racist idea, he himself in The Descent of Man, which anybody here can just go Amazon, download it, he describes African people as having ape feet. He describes that in the future, the civilized races, which is the Caucasian, will wipe out the savage races, which is steps 2 to 6, and I'm probably at step 4 because of the beard. So, we're in trouble. I mean, we're all in trouble. You might survive if you're maybe number 2, slightly Chinese looking, like your Malaysian brother here. But anybody other than that, you're going to get taken out. Now, in The Descent of Man, clear racist ideas. And it's actually unavoidable. If Darwin's theory of evolution is true, and then you apply it to human beings, there has to be a hierarchy of human beings, right? There's no way you can escape that. Now, Leonard Darwin, who was Charles Darwin's son, he was the father of eugenics in this country. And he said something very interesting. He said, one of the hardest things we're going to have to deal with in the future is what to do with the savage races, which is step 2 to step 6. Now, in the beginning of the 20th century, we had Otabanga, who was an African man who was discovered in Congo by European explorers. His family was killed, the poor guy. He was chucked into a zoo in New York, a human zoo, and he was paraded as a missing specimen between step 6, which is the African man, and step 7, which is a full ape. So they believed him to be between stage 6 and stage 7. Now, sadly, Otabanga, he ended up committing suicide, and he was just one of many live missing links which were paraded around the world. Now, post-World War II, all this stuff is whitewashed. No one wants to talk about it anymore. In fact, I was reading in the Philosophy of Human Evolution, published by Cambridge University, which I expected to cover this topic. They did a great job, a great cop-out. I mean, they didn't want to go near this. The only sort of thing that Michael Roos was writing, well, we're all African anyway. Well, of course we're all African in this picture, because the evolution starts at stage 12, which is in East Africa, and then it goes up to stage 1. No one denies, that this is saying that we're all African. The question is, does the hierarchy exist according to Darwinism? Well, it clearly does. But like I mentioned, this is something that Darwinists don't actually want to talk about, what happened in the past, and what they have to accept is true, which is human beings have to have some sort of hierarchical system. Also, Darwinism has become into a political system. You have books like A Darwinian Left, Political Gene. Also, Joseph Stalin, he admitted that he became an atheist. What drove him to atheism was reading The Origin of Species. And he was responsible for huge political slaughter. I mean, millions died in Russia. And he himself said, I was applying natural selection to race, to social class, right? And even in the writings of Darwin, when he spoke about the Ottoman Turks, which was the Muslim empire at the time, when they fought the Europeans and the Europeans beat them in a battle, Charles Darwin said, the savage races have been beaten, the savage Turks have been beaten hollow by the civilized Europeans. Why? Because, they're savages, and savages are beaten by those who are superior, which is the white man. And he made the prediction, which is very clear in The Descent of Man, that the civilized races are going to prevail all over the world. And in fact, he was justifying what had been happening in 3 continents. Australia, the savages were being wiped out. North America, the savages were being wiped out. And South America, the savages were being wiped out. And in Africa, the savages were being wiped out. And you'll find that within The Descent of Man, this sort of political commentary.